Protecting my peace for so long, a little too good, now I'm so low. Watching reruns of the same shows. Almost every party I'm a no-show. Even with green lights I don't go. Never been sure, no I don't know. How does everybody else let go of the ego? Don't go out nearly as much as I should. Barely know the way around my neighborhood. I'm ruminating, I feel no good. Not living life like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I know I should. Like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I could. If you would show me. Yeah. If you would show me. Yeah. If you would show me. Yeah. I spent so much time daydreaming. Now I don't know how I'm feeling. Don't know who is the real me. Might need my help and I thought I needed. I can see it. Need more healing. More believing. Less deceiving. I don't go out nearly as much as I should. Barely know the way around my neighborhood. I'm ruminating, I feel no good. Not living life like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I know I should. Like I know I could. Like I know I could. Like I could. If you would show me. Yeah. If you would show me. Yeah. If you would show me. Yeah. I might need therapy too. Help dilute all the bad news. Cause I just can't deal with the lose-lose situations you have to go through. I think I need therapy now. Recycling all the same doubts. Heard it a million times. Cause I tell myself all the same lies. I might need therapy too. Help dilute all the bad news. Cause I just can't deal with the lose-lose inflated shoes. Why you always jump to? Do I really want you when you know that I do? You so scared of real love, 'cause you've been abandoned with any mistake. They quick to run, and so you run. Jump the gun, but know that you got it. Even at your lowest, you got it. You know that you got it. Baby, take the moment, you got it. It's yours, it's yours, it's yours. My love, just rest assured. I'm yours, I'm yours. Tell me what you running for, 'cause you don't have to try so hard. Baby, come let down your guard. You think I care about money when I just helped you get ready for your interview? You think I like your body when I just caught close that I knew it looked good on you? Who do you think you are? Baby, you're an asset. 'Cause if I'm rocking with you, you're as good as it gets. But you're so scared of real love, 'cause you've been abandoned with any mistake. They quick to run, and so you run. Jump the gun, but know that you got it. Even at your lowest, you got it. You know that you got it. Baby, take the moment, you got it. It's yours, it's yours, it's yours. My love, just rest assured. I'm yours, I'm yours. Tell me what you running for. You don't have to try so hard. Baby, come let down your guard. No, you don't have to try so hard. Let go of your pride. Baby, come let down your guard. Safe to come inside.
Fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest. You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover wounds, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. And you ain't gotta try too hard. Number one fan, your side, your applaud. Got me think about it side the walls. Words got deep, it's like a sword. Making me better, you hotter than pepper, You with a big stepper who chasing a cheddar, All of these women, they not on your level, You like a mix of business and pleasure, You a move body giving interviews, I'm just saying I'm amused, but you ain't even flexing. And you cool, tatted up, cover wounds, different vibe, you know improved, but you ain't even flexing. 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 Ceiling fan blowing cold breeze on your body. I can't tell you really what it is, but you got it. Makeup in the morning, you got dresses in your closet, but you grab them tight, you in love with being modest.
Islam, 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 Islam. Peace to everyone that is coming in. Peace to each and every one of you. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Man, this week has been a very, very cold one. Many of us have been snowed in, iced in, just plain or frozen in. But we are excited. Much of the bad weather, or much of the weather that many of us experience, has now passed on or is still passing. So we hope and pray that everyone is somewhere warm, somewhere where everyone has food, clothing, and shelter to be able to weather this weather, because this weather has definitely been doing what it's supposed to do, which is weathering. Peace to everyone who have subscribed. If you haven't yet, make sure that you like, make sure you share to all your social media platforms, and make sure you subscribe. Once you subscribe, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you'll always receive notifications either when we go live or when we upload a new video. Right? We're not going to be lengthy tonight, but we definitely want to get in, because we're going to definitely go in. All right? So let me go ahead and let me get some music going for y'all. Let's get some music going on in the background. How's everyone doing in the chat? Hope that everyone is doing well. Yeah, we're gonna get into some of we're gonna get into some of these current events, because we got a lot of current events that has happened since last week. You know, they always got something going for us. Like, we just really be into our own thing, just focusing on us, doing what we need to do. But then, for some reason, these people continue to put something out here for us that we're not even planning on. Right? Something that doesn't have anything to necessarily do with us, but it is dealing with us at the same time, right? Peace out to everyone. We got, of course, Richard Neal Bay, His Majesty the Magnificent Ill, and my little big brother, the World Class. All right, let's get into Texas. Let's start with Texas first, because Texas is not playing. Texas is like, look, we done with this. We tired of this. We didn't ask for any of this. We want it all to stop, right? That's what Texas is basically saying. But what's crazy is, Texas should have been did this. I was like, it's about time. I don't know what y'all been waiting for, because the world been waiting. The world has been waiting for y'all to stop allowing these people come and do whatever they want to do. In Texas, we thought y'all was going to stop this a long time ago, right? So Texas we got here says, Texas refuses to comply with Biden administration order on border access. All right, Texas is like, look, we tried to work with your, we even started to send all these people up the river up last year. Y'all didn't get it. But since y'all wanted to be, I think, matter of fact, Illinois, J.B. Pritzker, who is the governor of Illinois, said that he wanted Illinois to be the most sanctuary state. Right? Like, you can't get no more sanctuary than Illinois, according to the governor, right? So he started to send all of these immigrants up the river. And Texas is like, look, we tired of this. This is over with. All right, so Ken Paxton, Texas Attorney General, rejects order for the state to end its control of Shelby Park, where people cross into the U.S. Texas officials have refused to comply with an order from the Biden administration to allow American Border Patrol agents to access a part of the U.S.-Mexico border that is now under the state's control. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton rejected a request for the state to end its control of Shelby Park, a public park in Eagle Pass, Texas, where undocumented immigrants have increasingly crossed into the U.S. via the U.S.-Mexico border. In response to the request from Biden's Homeland Security Department, Paxton defends Texas strategies as necessary given what he called the president's open border policies. Because the facts and laws side with Texas, the state will continue utilizing its constitutional authority to defend her territory, and I will continue defending those laws efforts in court, Paxton wrote. The dispute between the White House and Texas over immigration escalated last week after the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, ordered a fence built around Shelby Park. Abbott also announced that border agents would no longer be allowed on that property anymore. Later that same day, a mother and her young children drowned in the Rio Grande near the park. U.S. Border Patrol agents allege they are physically barred from entering the park to rescue the family by the state officials. Texas officials have rejected that version of events and said that Mexican authorities were already recovering the bodies when border agents requested access. The latest political standoff at the border comes as Biden and congressional leaders met on Wednesday about a possible bipartisan immigration bill. Biden met with Senate and House leaders from both parties about the potential immigration bill as his administration hopes to secure military aid for Ukraine throughout a brokered deal. What does this have to do with Ukraine? I mean, why is it that every time you turn around, Biden keep talking about you need more money for Ukraine, we need more money for Ukraine, we need more money for Ukraine. And who is paying for this money that's just given freely to Ukraine? Check. Says Senate Republicans have warned House lawmakers that the current negotiated deal will be the best version even if Donald Trump were to win a second presidency. To those who think that if President Trump wins, which I hope he does, that we can get a better deal, you won't. The South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said to reporters on Wednesday, NBC reported. Graham also reportedly said to my Republican friends, to get this kind of border security without granting a pathway to citizenship is really unheard of. So if you think you're going to get a better deal next time in 25, if Trump's president Democrats will be expecting a pathway to citizenship for that. But while Senate leaders have expressed optimism about the immigration bill, as of Wednesday night, the House Speaker, Mike Johnson, had not committed to bringing the immigration deal on the House floor. I don't yet know what they're going to propose. There's been lots of rumors about it, but I'm very hopeful that they will give us something meaningful that is very close to what we've sent over from the House, Johnson said to CNN about the bill. Adding that the devil is in the details. The devil is in the details. Progressive lawmakers have also threatened to reject the negotiated bill, particularly amid conservative concessions such as limiting the ability for arriving migrants to seek asylum. All right. So again, they're talking about another immigration bill. And Biden, of course, is talking about more funding for Ukraine. Like, what? Why is it that every time you turn around, this man keeps talking about Ukraine? What does Ukraine have to do with the Mexican border? Right? So here we go. We got this Ukraine thing once again. All right. So check that out. Continue to watch closely. Billy Graham said that you ain't gonna get no better deal than what's going on right now, even if Trump wins the presidency. So Billy Graham is optimistic that Trump might just win the presidency. What's crazy is, like, if you listen to the consensus of the people, a lot of people believe that Trump is going to win the presidency. A lot of people believe that Trump is going to win the presidency because of really the border, just the open borders. That's why a lot of people really believe he's gonna win, because no one is really wanting these open borders, right? That's why it's very imperative and important for us as Moorish Americans, as indigenous Americans, as true Americans, to function within our own governmental capacity, right? Everyone else does, but they do it in cute little groups like unions and political parties, right? They do it within their corporate structures. But when it comes to us, we seem to not have figured that out, even though Prophet Noble Drew Ali showed us how to do it and what to do in 1928. All right. So that is Texas. All right. The next thing we got going on, let's see here, is Trump. Trump urges the Supreme Court to reject efforts to keep him off ballot, warning of chaos and new filing. Trump like, look, I'm not playing with y'all. Y'all better go ahead and put me back on that ballot, because I'm not playing with y'all. Yeah, Trump ain't playing. He is like, look, I need to get on that ballot, or it's gonna be problems. It's gonna be problems, and don't nobody want to see those problems. You don't want to see my type of problems. And the thing that what I'm thinking about, what Trump is saying is, see, his name is trademark, right? So when you got a ruling from the highest court in a state about his trademark, and it's causing harm to his trademark. It causes what's called a trademark dilution, right? That's a trademark dilution, which is harming the his trademark. All right, so he's like, look, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, y'all need to get me back on the ballot. Y'all need to get my trademark back on the ballot, or it's gonna be hands and feet. And I'm not playing with y'all. Whoever got a problem with it, and you just gonna have a problem with it. But I'm not playing these games with y'all. Right? Because you gotta remember that your girl Fannie in Atlanta, who brought up the charges against him, she's looking at charges herself. But we're gonna get into that a little bit later. All right. So Trump is like, look, get me back on the get my trademark back on the ballot and stop playing with my name. He said, all three of y'all, put some respect on my name. All three of y'all. Shout out to everybody that's coming on. If y'all don't put no respect on my name, it's going to be on and popping. All right. It says, former President Donald Trump on Thursday urged the Supreme Court to reverse a decision from Colorado's top court that found he is disqualified from holding the presidency under a Civil War era provision of the Constitution, calling on the justices to put a swift and decisive end to efforts to keep him off the ballot. You got to remember that the so-called quote-unquote Civil War was civil suits that were being filed. That's why you had so much civil legislation that was introduced as acts that became either statutes at large, or they became public acts that you will be able to utilize. All right. It says, in an opening brief to the Supreme Court, Trump's lawyer said the challenges to his candidacy threatened to disenfranchise. Right? Disenfranchise. Ain't that what Prophet Noble Ali came to do? To put us back into the franchise so that we could get our own representatives to represent us. Islam said disenfranchise millions of Americans and promised to unleash chaos. And Bethlehem and other state courts and state officials follow Colorado's lead and exclude the likely Republican presidential nominee from their ballots. The Trump's brief presents an early look at the arguments his lawyers plan to put forward when they appear before the justices to argue the case on February 8th. They are asking the nation's highest court to decide whether the Colorado Supreme Court was wrong to order Trump be kept off the state's 2024 presidential primary ballot. The court should reverse the Colorado's decision because President Trump is not even subject to Section 3, as the president is not an officer of the United States under the Constitution. And even if President Trump were subject to Section 3, he did not engage in anything that qualifies as insurrection, his lawyers wrote. The court should reverse on these grounds and end these unconstitutional disqualification efforts once and for all. They urge the Supreme Court to issue a decisive ruling on Trump's eligibility under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment and warn that anything less will only... I'm going to pause right there. Why under the 14th Amendment? Because the 14th Amendment allows for Trump. Remember, I said it's about Trump's trademark, right? Now, we know that the trademark is a corporation, right? Which is how 14th Amendment citizens, which is a corporation, is able to do business. Okay? So he said his eligibility under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, because we know, I don't even want to say we, right? But what I'm going to say is this. Many of us know that the 14th and the 15th Amendments were never ratified. Check. Says that under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, and warned that anything less will only delay the ballot disqualification fight. And there is no shortage of legislators determined to use Section 3 as a cudge to bar President Trump from the general election ballot or from taking office if this court leaves any wiggle room for them to do so. So yeah, Trump is like, put some respect on my name. All three of y'all, or it's going to be hands and feet. And that's for everybody. Because my 14th Amendment corporation will not be disrespected. I'm not playing with this trademark dilution that y'all putting on my name. All right? So yeah, Trump not playing. Trump is not playing, but it's crazy. It's funny how Senator Graham really believes that Trump is coming back, and Trump is like, look, y'all not about to disenfranchise, because you got to remember, Colorado has a certain amount of representatives that makes up the electoral college, right? So they can't vote for him if they choose to. That's what he's talking about when he's saying constitutional. That's what he's talking about. That's what his attorney is talking about, I should say. When he's talking about constitutionally not being able to allow the voters to be able to even vote for him. Okay. Now, when it comes to the popular vote, that's just the popular vote. Popular votes don't win the presidency. Popular votes don't win the presidency. It's the electoral college. So all this where everybody be looking the whole night, hoping and wishing and praying, and then wait until the next morning and see, okay, such as, oh, this one has been, they already chose who the next one is going to be. And see, they know, these people really know, if they don't give it to this man, they know if they don't give it to this man, come November, it's going to be all hell broke loose. Why do you think they have all of these military age men here? You think these open border policies are just, we're just going to open our borders, we're just going to let everybody in? These people, I've seen videos of these people coming in with ankle monitors on. They're allowing these people to come in with ankle monitors. All right. This is crazy. And don't nobody know who they are. Nobody knows who any of these people are. But they're allowed to come in here with ankle monitors. Let that be us. We can't even walk to the corner store with an ankle monitor. Let alone crossing the border. You can't leave. They won't. You got an ankle monitor on. You think you crossing the border to go into Canada or the border to go into Mexico? Is you crazy? That's never happening. All right. So the next our next current event is the IRS. And this is why I keep telling everyone, or I'm not telling everyone, suggesting that if you have this limited liability company thing going on, it is best practices that you give that limited liability company or 100% of that company to your trust. So then you don't have to subject that limited liability company to so much scrutiny. You don't have to subject it to all of these foreign eyes, right? I want to see, I want to see what this is saying. I want to see what that is saying. I want to see what this going on and that going on and so on and so forth. Y'all see how, did y'all see how Tasha K, this is a sidebar, but did y'all see how Tasha K then found some of Tasha K money in the trust? I was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Because, Tasha K told these people that she didn't have no money. So allegedly, these folks that's on the screen right now, this agency has found some of Tasha K's money. Now y'all know that Tasha K and Cardi B was in a legal battle, and Tasha K was like, it's gonna take me like 60 years to have to pay this woman because I'm broke. I don't have any money. But yeah, y'all, it is so some alleged trust that was created by Tasha K and her husband, and is saying that Cardi B just might be getting that $4 million sooner than later. But back to the Treasury and the IRS. The Treasury and the IRS. Now, y'all know that the Treasury is not a United States governmental entity. Like, it's a private company. But the Treasury and IRS announced that businesses do not have to report certain transactions involving digital assets until regulations are issued. Washington, the Treasury Department and Internal Revenue Service, just like the IRS, these are private. The IRS today issued an announcement informing businesses that they do not have to report the receipt of digital assets the same way as they must report the receipt of cash until Treasury and IRS issue regulations. Now, this is the reason why a few years ago, when we did the U.S.A series, it was mentioned that best practices is to fill out the form, or when you do that Schedule C, to make sure that you check off that you are on the accrual accounting method versus the cash accounting method. Because the accrual accounting method allows for a lot more relaxation versus cash, because cash, you got to report cash. Why do you have to report cash? Because cash is a debt note. It is a debt promissory note to pay. So if you're issuing out or you're receiving a whole bunch of promissory notes to pay, then you got to report those. You got to report each and every one of them. Right, but they said the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act revised the rules that required taxpayers that are engaged in a trade or business to report receiving cash of more than $10,000 by considering digital assets to be cash. Announcement 24-4 provides transitional guidance as Treasury and the IRS implements the new provisions. This particular provision requires Treasury and the IRS to issue regulations before it goes into effect. The announcement does not affect the rules and effect before the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act for cash received in the course of a trade or business, which must be reported on Form 8300, report of cash payments over $10,000 received in a trade or business within 15 days of receiving the cash. Treasury and the IRS intend to issue proposed regulations to provide additional information and proceeds for reporting the receipt of digital assets, giving the public an opportunity to comment both in writing and, if requested, at a public hearing. So the best thing for the public to do is to send comments to the IRS agency in writing and say, hey, look, that ain't none of your business. Ain't none of your business in trade or business is none of your business on the digital assets. Right? So they're giving you time to say, hey, this ain't what the people want. People don't want this. The people already don't want to let anybody know about no $10,000 or more in cash. So the people definitely don't want this constant, always looking over your shoulder, always being nosy, looking into your privacy and your business. And, they got this whole thing against these LLCs. They got this thing against LLCs. It's just, to me, I'm looking and I'm just like, that's really discrimination. It's really discrimination because look, they ain't doing it to corporations. They're not doing it to private trust. But they're doing it to LLCs, and ain't nobody saying nothing, just going along with it. You should see all the content creators like, oh yeah, I can help you report it. What? Help you report it? Y'all don't go sit down somewhere and get you some other content to create. Talking about helping folks report their LLC private business. They be wanting you to give up the LLC's customer contacts and all types of Craziness. But again, when it comes to other businesses, that there's nothing going on. You know, that actually should be a class action lawsuit. It really should. It should be a class action lawsuit. Peace to let's see who else come on. Queen Dr. Neep channel. Islam. Gratitude for coming on. All right. So we have the IRS saying we're not gonna do it just yet. We're gonna hold off just a little while longer. But when we figure it out, we're gonna let y'all know. Y'all gotta start allowing these people to play around with y'all, right? Let's see what else is going on in current events. We have Texas and Chicago. You know, Brandon. Brandon. He's just caused so much anguish and strife for Chicagoans. It says, this is the Chicago Tribune. Texas transportation company sues Chicago for migrant bus restrictions. Chicago, a Texas transportation company, is suing Chicago over rules the city put in place to restrict unscheduled buses carrying asylum seekers. The lawsuit filed by Irving-based Wynn Transportation earlier this month accuses the city of violating federal and state laws with its restrictions on what Mayor Brandon Johnson's administration has referred to as rogue buses. The legal move continues a back and forth battle as Chicago works to control the arrivals of asylum seekers and Texas adjusts to continue sending them because y'all said you wanted them. You can't try to slow down receiving them, Brandon, when you have opened the doors for them to come. So you can't just say, well, you know, I want them to come, but I just don't want them to come the way they coming. No, you don't get to pick and choose. You said you wanted them to come, so Texas is doing what you said, which is send them. Check. So it says nearly 35,000 migrants have arrived in Chicago since Texas Governor Greg Abbott began sending buses in August 2022. I'm telling y'all, it's way more than 35,000. 35,000 might be like a fourth. Maybe a fourth. 35,000. That's probably how many came last week. Stop playing. 35,000 is what came. What we in January? That's what came in the month of December. 35,000. The suit against the city is about allowing immigrants the opportunity to call Chicago home, the lawsuit says. Rather than welcoming immigrants and giving them sanctuary, Chicago is turning its back on those wishing to travel here by enacting an ordinance that targets the transportation companies that transport migrants from our southern border to their desired destination. It continues. The lawsuit comes in response to city ordinance implemented in November requiring bus companies to drop off migrant passengers at a West Loop location during business hours and only with prior approval. The rules also limit arrivals to 2 buses per day. Starting in December, the city council added the threat of expensive fines and impoundment for violators. Only 2 bus applications have been submitted to the Chicago Department of Transportation since pre-approval was first required, despite 204 buses arriving in the city since the beginning of December. They like, look, we not submitting we're not doing that. We not providing no applications. We're not doing none of that, Brandon. When I tell you the disrespect is crazy. He said 204 buses. According to city officials, both bus applications were approved. The city has filed 95 complaints regarding buses violating its inner-city bus ordinance and impounded 2 buses, both of which were released after fines above $3,000 were paid, officials said. Chicago's restrictions, described by the city as an attempt to bring order to unexpected bus drivers and secure the safety of arriving people, prompted new evasions from bus companies and Texan leaders. Shortly after the rules were implemented, buses began to drop migrants off in suburban towns across Chicagoland, many of which have since implemented their own tough bus restrictions in mid-December. Abbott began to send chartered planes carrying migrants to the city. You like planes, trains, and automobiles. I don't care how you get on there. Just get on there. When subcontractors have faced 95 separate lawsuits filed by the city for violating the new rules, each seeking $2,000 to $10,000 fines, said the company's attorney. Michael Kozlowski of the Chicago-based law firm Eastbrook PC, it unlawfully interferes with the business. It unlawfully interferes with the business and makes the business very difficult to run, he said. It's certainly not chump change. See, I'm gonna tell you this. Texas is about to learn about Chicago. Texas gonna learn. They're gonna lose this lawsuit because, see, they don't know that Chicago is a home rule city, meaning they make up all of the laws that they want to make up. They don't care nothing about no state statutes. If they choose, as long as they're not outside of the Constitution of Illinois, Chicago gonna always be Chicago, and that's doing whatever they want to do. Yeah, this ain't nothing new. They gonna lose that lawsuit. I mean, it was good. I mean, they tried, but they have failed. They have failed horribly. Whoever the attorney is a Chicago-based attorney. He know that. He just took those people money. Yeah, go ahead. I'll save your company. You not saving nothing. Only thing you can try to do is get them fines taken down. Other than that, and tell your clients to follow the rules, because Chicago is home rule, baby, and they do what they want to do. Yeah, Texas gonna learn. They definitely gonna learn about Chicago real quick. But you know, it's funny. Brandon was like, look, we're gonna charge y'all. We're gonna charge you every day that you don't follow my rules, ma'am, sir. And if you don't follow my rules, you know, we're gonna have some problems. It's gonna be it's gonna be hands and feet if you're not following my rules. All right. So yeah, to the company, the trucking companies that's coming out of Texas, just follow Chicago's rule. You think because the city ordinance, they can't do it? They don't listen. Do not listen to those attorneys, because those attorneys know. Those attorneys know good and well. As long as it's not unconstitutional, they're gonna be able to get it off. All right. Let's see. The next one is the laws in Illinois. And this goes into these people are getting prepared for this man not winning this election, right? It says, here's a full list of new laws in Illinois for 2024. And see, we went over this a couple months back when it was first introduced into legislation, and people was like, oh, no, that's not real. It's not going to happen. Okay, here it is. Okay, HB House Bill 3751, non-citizens who are legally allowed to work in the U.S. will now be eligible to become police officers. Okay? Y'all think they playing games? Do you think they are playing? They're not playing games. This is not a game. This is real. This is real. So because, in the military, they already can join the military. That's been for a long time, where non-citizens can join the military and they can get their citizenship by joining the military, right? Now, on the state level, Illinois has implemented the same type of reward system. Non-citizens can become police officers. So, who do you think they're going to listen to? They're not going to bite the hand that's feeding them. So if they are trained to do whatever they're trained to do, and you on the side of the road and you trying to argue with them, what you think is going to happen? Your children outside and they walking around just minding their business, and all of a sudden these people pull up. It's already a barrier because they don't understand our culture, our customs, our usages. So what do you think is going to happen? These are the new employees. I understand they have to get these people in here. You know how many of us who have taken back and have allowed these fiduciaries to handle their fiduciary responsibilities. So now they don't have the credit that they used to have. It's literally a national emergency now. They have to let all these people in because these are the new slaves. So as many of us have awakened to no longer be debt slaves, and we're no longer signing on to do it, to participate in it, they say, okay, well, we got to get some new bodies in here. And that's exactly what they've done. They've gotten new bodies to fill the positions. So these are new Social Security numbers under this new banking system. What do you think the whole, okay, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to have to make everybody report the digital assets? What do you think all of this is? Of course, they're going to have everyone reporting the digital assets. Not right now, because they just haven't figured out a way. Not right now, because it's election time. So election time, no, we're just going to hold off. But next year, best to believe. Oh, yeah. See, everything is always strategically done. This is not new. These people ain't new to this. They are true to this. For everyone to be a debt slave. So, yeah. I'm going to say that for many of us, it's imperative. If we haven't already set up our trust, there is a way and an avenue that Moorish Temple of America has provided. It's members, citizens, to do just that. And so you can go to our website, check it out, take out membership. You get access to all of the templates on how to set it up. For those who don't want to do it, you want to have an organization to do it for you. We have Amexem Enterprises LLC, and I'm going to put the links in the chat so you can check those out. Set up a time to speak and go over the needs of your trust and your estate, so that you can function through those private entities without being out here in these public streets and being harmed. Like it's the liabilities out here in the public. The public is not fair, y'all. I'm just letting you know it's never fair, and it's not right. I mean, you literally out here playing around in these public streets. All right. So the next thing that we have is, I wanted everybody to see this video. And this is fair use. I'm really hoping that this person does not give me a I'm really hoping that they don't give me a strike, like they don't strike my channel. Because this was, matter of fact, I'm not going to use their video. I'm going to use another one. Just in case. You got to be more careful. All right. So, this is a video of the immigrants stealing someone's tractor trailer, and they have children, like they got families living in it. And I want everybody to see what's really going on. This is crazy, and they can't, like, they've tried to get the police involved. The police can't do anything, right? Mayor Adams can't do nothing. The whole situation is just crazy. Let's watch this, because this is insanity. All right.
No matter how many times we call Child Protective Service or NYPD, they don't show up. We can't physically go into that trailer with children in it.
All right, so as you can see in the video, the the migrants or the immigrants have illegally taken someone's tractor trailer, and they've been living in it. And they got a generator. I'm just like, where they get a generator from? You know how many people needed generators this past week and they had no generators? Where they get money for a generator? Like, but many of them have left. They have moved out of the shelters, because what has been going on with these shelters is they'll have like 3 or 4 hot plates, and they're plugging them up to keep food warm because they're actually cooking food and making food to try to sell to construction workers. And so they're making the power that they're shorting out the power outages in the shelters and the hotels and the places where they're giving accommodations, and the hot plates are being taken away from them. So instead of them having a hot place taken away from them, they rather live and steal someone's tractor trailer and live in there with generators, and they're playing the lottery every day, all day, hoping that they're gonna win the lottery. Oh, this is crazy. Like, you cannot make any of this stuff up. This is beyond crazy. And you talk about I could just imagine what, and I'm starting to really realize even more why they started creating the different vice authorities in major cities like, Chicago and New York, when all of these immigrants started to come over here in the 1800s and the 1900s. I understand it why now, because we're actually seeing it. These people do everything not to follow the laws that we're all supposed to follow. And they are they are definitely doing whatever they want to do. Doing exactly whatever they want to do. So that's the current events. All right. We're going to get into, before we get into tonight's lesson about stop the cap. America is land of the Franks, right? Shout out to, let's see, we got brother Marquis Smith Bey, Islam, brother Al Qadar bin Yahudi El, Islam or Shalom. I want to go over, because somebody said, you don't know what you're talking about, when I was going over the Celts this past week. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Those aren't Celts, it's a kilt. And I'm just like, okay, you have no idea what you're talking about. Shout out to brother Mosi Ill, who just joined us as well. You have no idea what you're talking about. So I just wanted to go over really quickly and share, because we just got this whole thing where we always got to try to show each other up. And if I say something, that's exactly what I mean. All right. So Celt, right, is a stone chisel. It's a stone chisel, right? And it also is spelled with a K, right? And we already know A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y is all interchangeable. Like, so we got to stop playing these games. We really got to stop playing these games. It literally is the same thing. And I want to show, let's see, where is that? This, okay, let me share this other screen. All right, here we go. Because we really got to stop the cap. I know it's hard for a lot of us, but we'll get it. We will definitely get it one day, hopefully. All right, that's the spelling. And then We're going to share. Right. And this is the Moor. Again, this is the figure of the Moor. Right. And he has a stone chisel on. Stop playing. Stop playing. This is stone chisel emeralds and gems on his what? Come on, y'all. We got to stop playing. I mean, it's cute and all, but we really got to stop. Always trying to show each other up. And if we don't understand something, just say, I don't understand. I don't get it. But when I say something, that's what I mean. Check. All right. So let's get right into Texas A&M's expert, new clues revealed about Clovis people. Clovis people. A study by Professor Michael Waters shows that tools made by some North America's earliest inhabitants were made only during a 300-year period. All right, there's much debate surrounding the age of the Clovis. The age of the Clovis, a prehistoric culture name for stone tools found near Clovis, New Mexico. Clovis, New Mexico, in the early 1930s, who once occupied North America during the end of the last ice age. New testing of the bones and artifacts shows that Clovis tools were made only during a brief 300-year period from 1350 to 12,750 years ago. Michael Waters, distinguished professor of anthropology and director of the Center for the Study of the First Americans, along with Texas A&M anthropologists David Carlson and Thomas Stafford of Stafford Research in Colorado, have had their New York published and their new work published, in the current issue of Science Advances. The team issued The team used the radiocarbon method to date bone, charcoal, or carbonized plant remains from 10 known Clovis sites in South Dakota, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, Montana, and 2 sites in Oklahoma and Wyoming. An analysis of the date shows that people made and used the iconic Clovis spear point and other distinctive tools for only 300 years. Now remember the locations, right? You got South Dakota, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, Montana, Oklahoma, and Wyoming. These are the locations of the Clovis technology, right? It says, we still don't know how or why Clovis technology emerged and why it disappeared so quickly, Waters said. Why am I talking about the Clovis technology, right? Because it is taught in history that the Franks, all right, the Frankish Empire started with who? Clovis the First, right? And so if Clovis the First started off with the Frankish people, and we definitely talking about the Franks tonight, then how is it and why would all of these different states have this Clovis technology? Why would it even be called Clovis, New Mexico? Let's get to it. Says Clovis, the etymology, type of prehistoric stone, spear points, 1943, from Clovis, New Mexico, U.S., near which place they were found. The town is said to have been named for the Frankish king Clovis. Why? Who would do that if this ain't where he from? Like, what are we doing? We just making stuff up to just make stuff up because it's cute? We got to stop playing. America literally is the true old world. And the more that we stop denying it and actually looking and saying, okay, well, you know what? I want to learn more about America being the true old world than constantly trying to fight it. Because history, the way it was taught to us, we believe that across the Atlantic Ocean and across the Pacific Ocean is the true old world. But history really is showing us something different, right? That's what we learn in school. But we really, when we out of school, we getting a lot of jewels that's teaching us something totally different. Right? So here is a map of what we would call Louisiana. All right, this is a map of Louisiana. And look at all of this in the blue. All of this in blue. All right, all of this in blue. You got all the way Canada, all the way down to Louisiana. Canada all the way down to Louisiana. And we know this to be, they call this what, the Louisiana part, well, part of it, the Louisiana Purchase. But yeah, all of this is Louisiana. This is where the Frankish Empire or the Franks would have ruled, or the French ruled. All right, because Frankish, French, it's all the same thing. Okay, this is a lot of land. It's a lot of land. You can't make none of this up. Nobody was allowing nobody to just say, okay, yeah, all that land was my land, and it wasn't. Didn't work that way. It still don't work that way. Right? Here it is, says territories, and then we have what? France in all blue. France in all blue. And this was from the 1500s all the way up into the 1700s. 1500s all the way up into the 1700s. All right. So let's get to our next slide, or our next tab. I want to share this next tab with you all. Shout out to everybody that's coming in. If you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Once you hit that subscribe button, make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you will always receive notifications when we are going live or when we upload a video. All right. So here we go. Let's share this video.
The Car Cougars are going for a 5th consecutive state championship.
Nobody in America has ever done it. But we always believe it can be done.
Our aspirations was to build the best team in America, and people kept saying we couldn't. But man, it's hard to think about that when you see people getting killed.
Last night, former wide receiver Gillette George was shot to death in the Algiers neighborhood of the city.
The relentless pursuit of saving a child. Easy to say that, harder to do it. When we lost him, it changed our message of our program.
People think it's all about football, but it's really about the lessons that you learn.
Winning and losing don't define champion. It's how you fight through adversity.
I don't want to release no balloons for no funerals. I want to release the balloons when they graduate, when they go to college.
They want hope. They aspire to be great. We have to give them greatness. We have to instill that greatness in them because that's what they aspire to be.
I love each and every one of y'all to death.
So the name of the documentary is Algiers, America. You think that's a coincidence? You see how the majority of the people who's affected and lives in that area is us. You see how they are constantly telling us who we are, where we are, without just straight out coming in and telling us. But we still don't get it. The world is constantly putting it out there for us, but we just still, for some reason, do not have the capacity to know who we are and where we are. The name of the documentary literally is Algiers, America. Because old Algiers is here. It's here. Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to wake us up, literally. Because we've been asleep and we still sleep. 1913 AD. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah, to the great God of the universe, to redeem man back from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity, back to the highest plane of life with his father God Allah. It literally tells us in the beginning of the Quran, it says the industrious acts of the Muslims of the Northwest and Southwest Africa. These are the Moabites, Hamathites, Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in that portion of Egypt. Egypt is here. The pharaohs of Egypt, again, Memphis has the largest pyramid in the world. Oh no, you know that was a fake pyramid. They just built that for just for the fair. Are we for real? Are we that asleep? When we left here and went to establish Asia Minor, today we know it as Europe and Africa, but that's really Asia Minor over there. We went over there to set it up. Got to the point where we're fighting Muslims, fighting this war, because these people just don't want to live as Muslims. They don't want to pay this tax. You always have to pay a tax to the empire. Like, no, we don't want to pay this tax to the empire. We don't want to pray. We don't want to live righteous. We want homosexuality. We don't care about nothing. We don't want to have the women separated from the men and the men separated. We don't want none of that. We want everybody together. We want to do what we want to. We want it to look like it looked today. Lawless. And in it, like, no, we not living through. No, we exile. That just meant that we can't trade unless we take on the banner of Catholicism. No, I'm not doing that. I'm a Muslim. And I follow Muslim customary law. I honor my foremothers and forefathers' divine creed and principles. Now, I can go back home for that. Yeah, I know that my mother's mother left and came over here. So yeah, let me go ahead and call my cousin and them and let them know that I need to come back home. That's getting the permission from the pharaohs of Egypt. Y'all really believe that anybody could just come over here and set up colonies, receive land? Are we that? Y'all, we gotta stop. Nobody is doing that today. And we don't even own the land where we live at now. So we the landowners, do you really believe that anybody was just coming over here? Oh, we just set up shop and we just signed all these treaties and they just gave up. Y'all, if y'all really believe that anyone was just able to come over here and sign some treaties and these people just took land because we didn't own land, we just lived off the land and we lived in teepees and all. Get that out of your mind. Or that we were just brought here in all these imaginary ships. There's 300 and 400 of us on top of each other, and we're able to live through. You're talking about being able to live through the women having at least on the minimum 3 menstrual cycles. 3. Do y'all not understand that everything within those quarters would have died before they got halfway over here? where there's 300 and 400 bodies on top of each other, with just women having the minimum of 3 menstrual cycles. And you literally have us arguing on social media about us being stolen. First of all, you mean to tell me it is stolen property and no one is coming over here to claim us? Like, the governments aren't coming over here. They said that it said your man bankrupt all of the Middle East. It said he bankrupt all of the Middle East when he went to go make Hajj. It said he had over like 200 and something odd ships coming over here. So his children's children ain't have the same wealth to come back over here and get their relatives. Come on, y'all. Wake up. We're gonna be better off when we just say, you know what, we've been hit in the head. We're gonna be better off when we just say, you know what, they got rid of all of the elders that was telling us that we've always been from here, or the elders was pushed in no longer telling us these things because they were really afraid. Because, you know, at one point in time, talking like that, you was pretty much taken up out of here. All right, so yeah, we might as well just go ahead and agree that the elders didn't tell us, and we was knocked in the head as youth and brought up in this mindset instead of continuing on with the lies as if it's going to do us any good, like it's going to help galvanize us and push us forward, because it ain't. All right. Algiers. It's here. It's a historic neighborhood of New Orleans and is the only Orleans Parish community located on the west bank of the Mississippi River. Algiers is known as the 15th Ward, one of the 17 wards of New Orleans. It was once home of many jazz musicians. Algiers frequently, although dubiously, bills itself as the second oldest neighborhood in the city. Early settlement. Algiers was established in 1719 as a plantation, not a neighborhood. Originally called the King's Plantation. We gotta stop playing. The King's Plantation. The King's Plantation. King's Plantation. Hey, we can't make this up, y'all. We got to stop acting as if it does not exist. The Holy Quran tells us that these are the Moabites, Hamites, Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in that portion of Egypt. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms, because a king is over a kingdom, right? Okay, and the kingdoms are called this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. I'll say it again. These kingdoms are called this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. Now, most people will be like, oh, well, you know, ancient Algiers, it's over there. It ain't over here. What are we talking about? What are we really talking about? Is that what we're going to continue to do that? Are we going to continue to do stuff like this? Are we going to continue to do stuff like this, y'all? Algeria. This is French Algeria. I'll say it again. This is French Algeria. This is not even Algiers. Algiers is over here. French Algeria, also known as colonial Algeria, was the period of the Algerian history when the country was a colony and later an integral part of France. Founded when? July 5th, 1830. Because this is an outpost. This is an outpost. Algiers is here. It's always been here. Again, it was originally called what? The King's Plantation. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called this day. Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. We don't even get into the etc. We been knew Morocco was Florida. We been showed maps of Florida being Morocco and Florida. And we have Morocco and Indiana. And it predates the French outpost of Morocco and what today is called the Kingdom of Morocco. Wake up, y'all. Wake up. Algiers Historical Society. Algiers Historical Society. It's always been here, y'all. It has always been here. The historic walking tour, Algiers Point. Settled in 1719, Algiers Point is New Orleans' second oldest neighborhood and listed on the National Register of Historic Places walk the quiet streets of its 19th century village and discover the secret jewel of New Orleans. The secret jewel of New Orleans. Welcome to Old Algiers. Welcome to Old Algiers. So one of the things that I like to do is I like to incorporate the different types of findings and locations, the archaeology, the geography, right? So I have started to research. I'll tell you how I got to New Orleans, Louisiana. I started to research more of my family, and I found more of my family going back and forth between Santo Domingo and New Orleans, and coming up and going through Florida and your Florida, Georgia, right? I found them going back and forth through these paths. And this is how I found a lot of what I'm going to be talking about in the next couple of weeks. In the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be dropping a lot of information that I just don't hear anything about. I have not heard anyone really go into how we was actually living, right? Other than, we had these great, huge buildings, like that we can see in what they call the antebellum period, right? So we had these great antebellum period structures. We had this really dope technology, right? Like I was just going into the Clovis technology. And today when we think about it, oh man, they're talking about just some spears and this, that, no, those aren't just spears. One of the only people that I actually know, Brother Mosi Ill, he is one who actually utilizes some of the Clovis, what we would consider to be Clovis technology, as protection. And a lot of times we talk about these stones and these minerals, right, as healing devices, but we don't really get into other ways to utilize these crystals and these stones and the different minerals as protection devices and as devices on helping to power and create energy, right? That's the reason why everybody is always here, because the energy is here. Why do you think they always got us focused on something that's going on, especially in what they call the information age or the age of information? Why you always think they got our attention focused on this one thing? Because they need to help, they need to garnish our energy as a collective. They got to get so many of us to do it, to actually get off whatever they're proposing. So before it can actually happen, they'll put it out there in the media and get so many of us to talk about it, and then it actually happens. Right before it happens. Right? They need us. They literally, they cannot survive without us. Okay? So in the next few weeks, you're going to hear me bring up and you're going to see me show more of the tools and the technologies that we were using and we still use today, right? So one of the tools that I found, or one of the technologies that I found, was something I didn't realize, and which is a musical instrument, right? And this is leading me into New Orleans, right? And so the tambourine, I'm like, let me get into some of these musical instruments, because when we talk about New Orleans, we're talking about the big brass bands. Of course, we're talking about Second Line. We're talking, we're talking about, of course, the music, right? And they talk about the French Quarters, but we're really talking about New Orleans. We're definitely talking about Mardi Gras, right? And I'm going to be getting a lot into Mardi Gras, y'all, and it's going to be so crazy because the stuff that I have found, it has really opened my mind up, where I didn't even know I was going to be taken here. Like, I keep saying that Islam began here, like literally Islam started here, and we took it everywhere else in the world to civilize the creations that we started to create in the world. All right, so the tambourine is a musical instrument in the percussion family consisting of a frame, often of wood or plastic, with pairs of small metal jingles called zills. Classically, the term tambourine denotes an instrument with a drum head, though some variants may not have a head. Tambourines are often used with regular percussion sets. They can be mounted, for example, on a stand as a part of a drum kit and played with drumsticks, and they can be held in the hand and played by tapping, hitting, or shaking the instrument. Tambourines come in many shapes, with most common being circular. It is found in many forms of music: Arabic folk music, Israeli folk music, Turkish folk music, Greek folk music, Italian folk music, French folk music. Y'all think you think any of this is coincidental? I mean, it isn't the Arabic language and the Aramaic language pretty much the same language? Isn't the Aramaic language or the Hebrew language pretty much the same as the Algonquin language? Did we learn that in the book? What was the book? Let's see. All right, what was the book? The book was A Study in Hebrew and Indian Languages. Thomas Brookbank. Right? Aren't these pretty much the same languages? A Study in Hebrew and Indian Languages. After some introductory remarks, certain words which occur in the Indian and the ancient Hebrew languages, respectively, will be submitted for the reader's criticism and study. They are of a character considered with respect to both form and sense which we believe can hardly fail to command the assent of every impartial investigator as being truly analogous examples. Then to these a large number of illustrations which show identical forms or a striking similarity in form, in whole or in part, will be added in a separate list. They are common property of the languages in hand. There are so many such to be taken into consideration that the probability that more than a small percentage of them are mere coincidence cannot be entertained in reason. It's the same language. So no wonder it's in the music, because it's the same language. It's the same language. You're not just making this up. We're not just trying to make it appear and seem and hoping that it'll stick. We don't have to do that. It is what it is. Right, so we can go to let's go to the King James Version. Exodus 15. Let's go down to the 20th verse. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel, which is a tambourine, in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. So hold on. Tambourine. They had it in the Bible. But hold on, then where's the tambourine from? All right, where was the first tambourine? Where's it from? Well, of course they're gonna say the origin of the tambourine is unknown. It's unknown. But it appears in historical writings as early as 1700 BC and was used by ancient musicians in West Africa, the Middle East, Greece, and India. Well, let's find out a little bit more about this tambourine. Right, let's find out a little bit more about the tambourine, right? All right, this is VCU professor is helping America's oldest tambourine sing again. America's oldest tambourine. All right? America's oldest tambourine. Man, I'm telling y'all, Virginia really be getting it in. In 1944, Preservation, Virginia's Jamestown rediscovery, archaeologists were excavating the original site of James Fort when they found a small copper alloy symbol, also known as a jingle, that was once part of a tambourine that arrived in the colony prior to 1610, so before Jamestown. It was already here, making it the oldest known English tambourine in the United States. Now, how did they make it the English tambourine? How did they make it the English tambourine? How did it become the English tambourine? No, the English just adopted it, just like they adopted the word terrapin. All right? Says now, as part of an upcoming exhibit refresh at the Jamestown Settlement Museum, the Jamestown York Foundation is seeking to recreate the tambourine and has enlisted the help of Virginia Commonwealth University professor to ensure the replica is as accurate as possible. This is bringing an object back to life said Bly Stroop, PhD, former Jamestown Rediscovery senior curator, who was instrumental in the effort to find the 1607 remains of James Fort and who is consulting on the exhibit. It was buried for 400 years. We did resurrect it and put it in the museum. It's in Jamestown Rediscovery's Archaeological Museum, the Archeum on Jamestown Island. Now, we're going to make it sing again. This is bringing an object back to life. We're going to make it sing again. Right? Because it was buried for 400 years, as if they know how long it was actually buried. This is crazy. This is absolutely insanity. It says, last week, Bernard Means, PhD in anthropology professor in VCU's School of World Studies and the College of Humanities and Sciences visited Jamestown Rediscovery's lab to 3D scan the jingle, allowing him to create a digital 3D model for use in replicating the tambourine. It will take the 3D model back to the virtual curation laboratory at VCU, where I will edit it. Once I get that done, I'll make 2 reproductions in plastic that will be accurately modeled to the size and shape of the object. And then folks at the Jamestown Yorktown Foundation will be able to make replicas of the tambourine. He said they do this all the time with everything we have. Been doing it. It'll allow them to reproduce the sounds of the 17th century with an accurate reproduction of a tambourine from that era. As part of the project to reproduce the tambourine, the Jamestown York Foundation enlisted the help of John Paul Lingberg, a former principal percussionist and principal timpanist at the Virginia Symphony and an instructor of percussion at the College of William and Mary. I got an email from Dr. Strobe, and she asked if I'd be interested in singing on, he said. She told me we have found a tambourine jingle, probably dating from 1608 to 1610, and we needed to replicate a tambourine. I was like, how could I sing on to this? How could I sign on to this? Pardon me, signing on. How could I sign on to this? It's really cool. As a percussionist, Lingborg said the opportunity to help create a museum quality reproduction of the earliest tambourine in America was too good to resist. The first time I came in here and held the jingle in my hands, I felt like I was going to cry. It was just, you never get to touch an instrument of that vintage. I mean, holy cow, he said. My interest in the whole thing is very simple. I want to see a reproduction of this tambourine in the museum. And I want it to be so as perfect a reproduction as possible. That's why we wanted to 3D scan the thing. It was something that absolutely had to be done to make it a museum piece. To make it a museum piece. Y'all gotta realize that most of what we see in these museums are not real. They are reproductions. They don't put the real stuff out. We know that. We saw the video of the brother when he went to the British Museum and he was looking for the picture of America. And they told him that he had to make an appointment and he needed to make it at the beginning of the week because he most likely wouldn't be able to get in the next day to see it. They don't have this stuff out. What they got out is reproductions. They ain't got the real deal out. But the 3D model of the jingle in hand, the team plans to work with Norfolk Machine and Welding to recreate the jingles with Grover Pro Percussion in Boston to build it. I called a man by the name of Neil Grover of Grover Pro Percussion, which makes probably the best tambourines in the world. Lindbergh said, I said, Neil, you want to sign on to this? We need a tambourine built, but we need to do it from one jingle. So we looked at it and thought it's probably a 10-inch tambourine. It's a small jingle and we're going for it. Strobe, who was senior curator at Preservation Virginia's Jamestown Rediscovery for 21 years, who helped start the project in 1994, is working with Jamestown Yorktown Foundation to refresh its 17th century exhibition galleries. The tambourine, she said, will be featured as part of an installation on musical instruments played by 3 Jamestown era cultures, the Angolians, the Powhatans, and the English. For the Africans, it's a gong. For the Powhatan, it's a gird rattle. And because I know about the tambourine jingle, I suggested the tambourine for the English, she said, part of our exhibit. I think will be audio, so it's important for us to recreate the tambourine. I'm trying to figure out what they put that. Like how the African, they always want to throw something about Africa in it. Hey, it had nothing to do with African. Daggone. Woo! This recreation story. Several other indications of musical instruments have been found at Jamestown, including 2 trumpet mouthpieces, several Jews harps, 3 whistles, and a number of rumbler bells, and the mouthpiece to a woodwind instrument, possibly a recorder. We don't find too many musical instruments. We've only found a handful, but they show a whole other side of life of the fort that's not really been documented, Strobe said. Means who has spent the summer 3D scanning artifacts such as 2,000-year-old terracotta figurines in Indiana, mastodon fossils in California, and dog vertebrae dating to 400 AD in upstate New York, said the Jamestown tambourine is a particularly special project. It's really interesting, he said. In archaeology, I'm used to picking up and touching things. One of the really nice things about this artifact is that not only will we be able to touch it, but we will be able to use it to actually hear the past. Like they didn't make themselves really believe that this is real. Like this is, and it took one symbol and recreated it, and now it's making a whole fake tambourine and putting it on exhibit, and it's telling everybody, this is it. This is the tambourine of all tambourines. We haven't heard this sound since 400 years ago. We gotta make sure you hear the African sound. Woo! You're gonna make sure you hear this African sound. And this is crazy. But again, this is what they do. And the crazy part about it is you will have us sitting here arguing with each other. Oh man, they found the oldest tambourine. The oldest tambourine is from Africa. You can't tell me it ain't in Africa. We always have music in Africa. It is the oldest. I'm just going off on each other. Like we ain't got nothing else better to do in life. And here it is. They tell you at the very beginning Before they start recreating and, putting their spin on it, that it was here prior to 1610. Prior to 1610, so that means it was here before Jamestown. It was here. It was already here. They don't know how old it is. They're going to put a whole number on it just because they want to. And it's okay for them to do this because we're not speaking out against it. No, we're not speaking out against none of this. This is cultural appropriation at its best, right here in our face. And it's, we're gonna use this one for the African. Like, how did Africa and African, like, that wasn't even mentioned at all, but y'all gonna put it in there anyway. I love to talk about Africans in Africa. We don't even talk that much about Africans in Africa. But y'all gonna do it anyway. That's crazy. But what I found with the tambourine, again, shout out to my ancestors that really start to show me this. Right? What I found about the tambourine is one of the oldest tambourines that was found was the Algonquin. Right? It says the Algonquin stock now in existence number about 95,000 let me go down. Says their history government writers say is intimately connected with that of the Winnebagos, as they lived with or beside that tribe from very early times, although their language shows them to belong to Algonquin stock and more nearly related to the Chippewas or Ojibwe than to any other tribe. The tribal names is from Amanomi, meaning rice man. The French, I'm telling y'all, the French is all up. The French, all up in here. The French called both the grain and the tribe faux avion, wild oats. The tribe is now located on the reservation of Kashina, Wisconsin, and occupy almost the same territory in which they were found in 1634 by Nicolette. The tribe has borne the names Adelhead, Malominik, Near, Nina Amis, Manamani, Mooncalves, and Awun Booms. All right. And here is the tambourine drum. Tambourine drum. Again, been here. Way older. These people don't know how old it is. They can't even give you a number on how old it is. And so I'm going to share our next slide. It's going to be our last slide for the night. And this slide, we're going to see the tambourine doing what it do. Shout out to brother Mosia, who actually played this one night for us. And he was building in his measure for Holy Night, right? We're going to see this tambourine. See this tambourine in live, real action. All right. Before I show this tambourine, this video, I want us to see the tambourine on ancient pottery. Let's see. Let me share this. Right, this is supposed to be Grecian pottery. And many of us know and have come to understand that the Greeks are really the Creeks. We're going to be getting more into that. We see the tambourine here, right? I want us to remember the little Indian collars. We're going to see this little Indian collars. Look at the little Indian girl. She don't look like who they calling these Native Americans today. Not that little Indian girl with the little Indian collar. No. She don't look like them. The Native Americans today looking something way different from the little Indian in the Indian. This is called an Indian collar, right? We're going to see it again in this video that I'm about to play. Again, shout out to everyone who is in attendance, everybody who came out. All right. I'm going to put the link in the chat. If anybody want to come up on the panel, you can do so. I put the link in the chat if anybody want to come up on the panel. We're going to go over the last slide for this evening. We're going to get it in. Islam. All right, this is the Dixie cups. All right, this is the Dixie cups.
How many of you have ever been to the Mardi Gras in New Orleans? Well, I'll tell you, I was just looking at the costumes of the girls over there you're about to meet here on Shindig tonight, and I figured they'd call for some sort of an explanation. The costumes are duplicates of the costumes that the Indians down in New Orleans wear during the Mardi Gras celebration. And these girls you're about to meet on Shindig tonight are pretty famous for making the original songs of the Mardi Gras time down in New Orleans famous. Their last hit record, which you just might remember, called Iko Iko, was an original Indian traditional song, which they do every year at the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. And tonight, their latest recording release.
Did y'all hear that? Did you hear it? He said that this is what we've been doing. We created this sound. We created this music. It's original. Let's get it.
Please, is a song called Two-Way Pockaway. And it's a song wherein you invent your own lyrics as you go along, and it sort of tells the story of the Mardi Gras celebration. So, with that explanation of the costumes and the song, I see no reason why we shouldn't meet in person the fabulous girls who made it famous, the Dixie Cups.
Two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway, early in the morning, Indian coming, lying at the Big T Freddy, down on the bayou, world on fire, boy ain't he pretty, talking about Big T, talking about Big T, two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway, so I'm at a gang now. I went to sleep now. Big T holler, bye bye holler. Good morning today. Two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway. On the overpass now, met everybody. Down on down, down down. Bye boy leaving. Big T holler, second line holler. Family's ringing. Second line singing, two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway.
U.S.A. second line singing. So they're talking about what's going on, what's happening at Mardi Gras, at the celebration. And he said that this is original, meaning we originally created this music. You see the sisters with the tambourine. They have the Indian collars, right? Because this is who created the instruments. This is who created the culture, the clothing. We've been here, y'all. We've been doing this. This is who we've always been.
Sun going down, sun going down, jump all around now, don't bow down, going on in now, going on in now, two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway, two-way pockaway.
How many of you have ever been to the Mardi Gras?
So, yeah. This is what we've been doing, y'all. This is who we've been. I mean, it's like you can't make any of this up. If I tried to stretch it, if I tried to make it up, I couldn't do it. It's impossible. I mean, I could do a lot, but come on, y'all. This it's pretty hard to do this. Here they are. Let me pull up their picture. Here they are in their clothes. They got the tambourines going, the drums going. They got the Indian collars. Just being themselves. In old Algiers. Wow. America is the land of the Franks. There's no stranger that can come and just say, I'm going to take all of this landmass from Louisiana all the way up into Canada, and the people who actually been from here, been living here, all that, like that, mothers, since time immemorial has lived here, and now they're just gonna allow a stranger to come and take it? Make it make sense. It does not work that way. It never has worked that way. Yo, we gotta stop playing with this stuff. We're either gonna be who we are or we not. Because the prophet continued to tell us who we were. And time after time, we have deliberately ignored it because we want to believe that we're from somewhere else other than here. We want to believe that we've been enslaved for 400 years because it sounds good. To play from a victimized position in life, right? We want to be able to say, well, I can't really be who I'm supposed to be because the white man. Here it is. We still got the opportunity today to be ourselves. We still have the opportunity to honor our forefathers and foremothers' divine creed and principles. We still have the opportunity to go back and claim our heirs' property. Go back and get everything that was stolen from our ancestors. But we can't do it under that banner of being black. There is no freedom or no justice under the banner of being African American, under the banner of being foundational Americans, Africans, descendants of African slaves. And this is no slight to anyone. We can only do it under the banner of being true Americans. And the prophet made sure that we got it through the Moorish Divine and National Movement by way of the Moorish Science Temple of America, where we were to come and learn to be ourselves. Islam. Again, I want to say honors to each and every one of you all who came out, participated, those who had left comments. Yeah. Algiers is actually here. We home. We're home, Moors. The more of us who wake up to the fact that we're home, the better off we're going to be. And we don't have much time. We literally have a very small window. If you hadn't got your affairs in order, make this 2024 opportunity your best opportunity that you ever have had in life. Because for many of us, once this window opens, there'll be no more windows. There'll be no more opportunities. We got to act like this is the only and the last opportunity that we have. For those who are looking for temple membership, you can reach out to us at www.mstahor805.co, or you can call us at 877-808-2477. All right. If anyone is looking for assistance with setting up their trust and their family's estates, if you want to get that asset protection going, you want to make sure that your land patents, as you are claiming them, and anything else that you have of value is protected privately, you can reach us at Amexem Enterprises LLC. So that's going to be www.amexementllc.com, or you can call us at 844-726-3936. I enjoyed each and every one of you all this evening. We'll be back here tomorrow for Holy Night Meeting. All right, for Holy Night Meeting, if you want to join us, you can go to our website, scroll down for weekly meeting times, click on join. It is a Zoom call. It's going to bring you directly into the meeting. We also live stream. So those who's watching us on Facebook, we also live stream our Holy Night meetings via Facebook. So you could check us out on Facebook as well. We'll be back here again on Sunday for Sunday school. Be on the lookout for Sunday school. We live stream that on Facebook. And that is at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Holy Night Meeting tomorrow is at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I definitely enjoy each and every one of you all this evening coming in and learning some more about who we are. Waking us up even the more. When I realized it, I didn't even fully understand, because my mission was to really go into the music and find more within the different music genres that we created and that the entire world still samples today. And as I begin to go into the music, I begin to go into the instruments, and within the instruments, I've been able to find so much more about who we are as a people. I look forward to being back with you all next week. Until then, inshallah, pray that the rest of our week will be a great one for each and every one of us. Honors Brother His Majesty the Magnificent Ill, as always, one of our moderators who comes out and definitely shows his support. If anybody wants to donate, you can do so. My Cash App is on the screen. I'm going to also put the Cash App in the comments as well, because I've had several people asking how can they donate. Right? That is the Cash App. You can always donate via that tool. With that, Morris, we're going to get up out of here. Hopefully, we will be back here next week. And again, peace and love to you all.
you.